everyone, welcome again to Bets and Balance Sheets. Today's podcast is about innovation in payments, streamlined transactions in the gambling industry. We are here with Anschana, VP Specialist at Kushki. She worked also with PXP Financial, Pensafe, and WorldPay, so really big experience in the payments industry. And also Laurent, with his new venture, CEO at Paytently, also worked with Vivo Wallet, Checkout, HiPay. So we basically have all the payments companies here represented with experience. And today we are here to discuss the financial benefits of adopting new payment methods, alternative payment methods, e-wallets, and exploring the challenges of adopting them. So I think to start, I would like to ask Laurent, in terms of the user experience of adopting these new payment methods, how can we enhance the journey for the players?
I think the most important things for the moment, in the past it was mainly Visa, MasterCard, the main payment methods. But of course, when now the iGaming is more international, and also you have a lot of alternative payment methods in every country. When I say example of iDeal in Netherlands, we take like 88% of the payment to the iGaming website. You have Bank Contact in Belgium, we take 60%. On wallet, you have a lot of user in Germany for PayPal, for example. I think now this is very important for the operator to put a different payment method because they're going to increase the revenue of their website. And also something that we saw now more and more growing is the open banking, with different solutions existing on the market. And the people, they prefer sometimes also to pay directly from their bank and not use a credit card to play. That is what we saw in the revenue and the growing of the iGaming business these last few years.
Okay. How is Kushki offering this new payment method?
No, I would agree with Laurent in that. I think I would just add, and obviously it's like a taken, right? That it's what they are looking now is to have everything immediate. We're in this generation that they have everything a click away.
Yeah.
So they expect the same for payments as well. Mm-hmm. So for them, it will be, I always say, like a super app or kind of what Apple does, right? That in a device, you can pay, you can go and watch your movies, you can have, I don't know, some points for buying something. So I think we're moving more towards that.
Yeah, and I think not only on the payment side, but also on getting the money back, right? How can you get your money from the operator? Trying to get this immediate. Do you think that's a massive challenge for a payments company as well and for the operators?
I think it's getting less and less, but still is, right? And it depends also in which countries you are targeting, because there are some countries that they are not prepared yet to do that. So technically they cannot do it. So they will have like 30 minutes delay, 1 week, 1 day or 2 days delay.
Yeah.
So we're still in certain areas getting this challenge, but more and more in Europe, etc., it's getting better at that.
So it's not only basically about the payments companies, but also the infrastructure that these countries have in terms of operating with them. And how can we balance, make it more accessible to players, but also making it responsible?
I think also one of the key things to have in mind when you put all these payment methods also is to don't put so much payment method, because sometimes you have some checkout pages of an iGaming website. They have like 30 different payment methods.
Scroll.
Yeah, and this is very complicated because they look at the payment method they want. They live in a country where they don't find the right payment method, and they lost the player. This is the most issue that you have. But to come back also to the winnings and the withdrawal, I think also depending of the banks, like Anschana says, she said, it's in Europe it's not the main issue. Normally speaking, instant payouts is the norm for the moment. A lot of people can pay directly that. But also I think you need to have a clear withdrawal pages for the player, because for them, they want to receive the money very easily. They want to receive the money very quickly, because this is key. When they receive the money back in a second, they're going to play again. Yeah. That's the key. And I think for the user experience, you need to have like a one-click pay-in and like a one-click payout. It's something very important for them. And it's important in the payment industry to help the operator to give them access to all the best user experience they can find on the market.
Do you think the user experience goes through probably memorizing the payments options that people choose initially and then offering them in at first?
I think it's always based on the country. Then when you go to a country, for example, you choose 2 or 3 payment methods, the more relevant in the country. Then when you see a player choosing one payment method, of course, when he come back the day after, we're going to propose the same payment method. But something very interesting also, for example, if they play with a credit card and they don't have enough revenue anymore on the credit card, we can propose an open banking solution that they can continue to play up to the limit of the credit card. Of course, to respect everything related to the compliance, don't push them too much. But of course, we can be very creative and propose several payment methods to cover all the payments that they want to do on the website.
Okay. How does Kushki apply this? Like, do you offer a checkout experience to the operators, or generally the operators that work with you guys, they have their own checkout experience and you're just
They tend to like their own checkout because they have their own checks or they have their own experience, because not every operator is the same, right? Some of them will have players that might be, because the ATV is lower, the deposits, then they use more cash. Others will use more cards, etc. But they tend to manage that themselves.
And from your experience, what are the most common payment methods that operators are interested in right now?
Well, again, it's a bit of everything, right? Because again, it depends on the country. It depends what culturally are in the country. For example, in Latam, there are still, for small ATVs, loads of cash payments still, right? As well as cards. So cards are more important in certain countries as well. So I don't think that you can say, give it in a box, right? It depends on the markets.
Do you think it's easy to spot when a new payment method is rising in the market?
Well, if they do it well, yes. You have the example of pigs, right?
Yeah,
pigs in just a few years, like 3 years or something, they have become massive. Obviously, then with everything that had to do with COVID, that might help as well, because they're online. Before, people will go to the shop and do a boleto or something, and now they morphed as well. But then it comes back also with the help of the government, because the government has been really flexible, helping them also with rates and setting it up.
Okay. And in terms of strategy, I mean, obviously with everything that is new comes risk. How do you safeguard the sensitive player data when you implement new payment methods?
Always, generally speaking, all the payment method themselves, they have all the security 3DS check, everything related to that. If you are on the open banking side, for example, you speak about new payment method. Open banking is a new payment method. This is directly linked to the bank of the player. Then you are 100% secure, no chargeback on this. This is the most important. But come back to that, of course, you have some payment method, because everybody knows because it's hype, they want crypto payments. I remember I launched crypto on a big gaming website. It was 5-6 years ago. I was the first one to launch that. And I think during 6 months, nobody make a deposit in crypto. Because sometimes it's also important to be sure that you open a payment method with mature enough. Because sometimes a lot of gambling merchant operator, they want a new payment method because they say, I'm going to be the first one to offer this payment method. And they think that they're going to receive a lot of new deposit. But generally speaking, it's not the case. Sometimes you put a new payment method and in 6 months, you don't have any transaction on it. And the people use always Visa, MasterCard, because on the brand, that is crypto now, more and more. But crypto represents, generally speaking, 3 or 5% of the deposit, depending on the country, of course. But that is the most important. I think the operator, depending on the size, of course, if they have their own payment manager, own team to manage that, but I think they need to ask for advice to the professional payments that we are, like we Anschana. I think it's important because we can advise them and say, okay, guys, don't put so much payment method, this one because you're targeting this country. I think we are there for that, to help them to put the best payment method and to increase the traffic and the success rate.
And you mentioned something about chargebacks and 3D Secure, but in markets and in certain markets that doesn't exist, like America. How do you help operators fight those chargebacks, considering those are very high risk transactions?
I think on the chargeback side, there are a lot of different partner tools, risk and fraud tools they can implement. I don't want to name a lot of brand here, but there is a lot of different aspect on that. Also, they have their own security check on the big gambling website, because also they can identify the KYC of the player. They know if it's a VIP player. I think the best option is to always, on the first transaction, put the 3DS to secure the transaction, 2 or 3 transactions. And then if you are secure about the player, you can bypass the 3DS sometime, put some additional check on it. I think today, with the technology, all the fintech existing, you have so much solution to do that. Majority of the big website, they do it in-house. But also, I think it's important to have some also advice on professional of risk and fraud. They can help, of course.
Do you think in Brazil, for example, or Latam, it happens the same? How do we protect players and also operators from these fraudulent transactions?
Well, in Latin more and more, for example, 3DS is also getting there. Obviously, it's not as mature as here. Is all about education, is what Laurent was saying, right? So you have third parties that can help you with that, but then you have also to understand this, because in the case of, for example, the States that you were also asking about, you have land-based casinos that they are trying to go online.
Yeah.
So they need to understand, or maybe more support than someone that is going to a joint venture with someone in Europe, because they already have the tools, etc. So it's more about education and regulation. It always ends up also to regulation, because back to the crypto example as well, loads want to do crypto, but they cannot do it because there is the challenge of the source of funds, right? So then it limits also where or what you can offer.
Okay. And I mean, there's a lot of education about the player experience and telling them how to use certain payment methods, even the new ones, or what does it mean to have 3D Secure? I still remember when we implemented 3D Secure in Europe, and it was just very annoying to have a message on your phone, and like every time that I have to use my card is annoying. But on the operator side, how can we help and educate operators on the risk of implementing certain payment methods over others? Because we all want to increase the revenue, but at what cost? And how can we make them aware of certain risks on payment methods? Is it something that we do?
Yes, again, it's having an open conversation with them, but then you cannot be too strict either, because then you have false positives. So you are also disenabling payments that might be good because of reasons. So I think it's all a mix of all the technology that is going on now with AI, but it needs a human being as well that understands the patterns, because obviously AI, they can trick you a bit as well if they want to. They can attack you with certain rules or certain things to make your system do something, but then you need someone also to do it. Again, plenty of information out there and just willing to listen.
Yeah. Do you think operators are interested in that part, or generally they are more focused on enabling more payment methods than understanding the risk?
Depending of the
maturity,
how mature
maybe.
they are, because all the operator, they want bigger traffic, less chargeback, more payment methods, everything. But you can have everything. That's always the case. You need a balance between everything. That's the case. Also, the quality of the traffic. I say always, guys, because some of the merchant I work with, for the same country, they have a big difference between the success rate. For example, in France, this one, they have 82% success rate, and the other one, 69%. And exactly the same integration, exactly the same payment method. And I say, why, guys? But when I see the quality of the traffic, for example, I see that people, they try to do the 3DS 12 times in 1 minute, then you decrease your success rate. This is also important. And I think you go deeper in detail, because your merchant going to say, oh, look at your success rate, not good. No, maybe it's the quality of your traffic. Look, there is a guy who tried 30 times to make a deposit with a 3DS. That decrease your success rate. It's one guy who make that. And I think it's important. Maybe they call it, they say, guys, there is a problem. I never do 3DS. Yeah, but we need it in France, for example. That's the kind of like I say, conversation you need to have very closely with your merchant. For me, is the most important.
Do you recall of any details that operators might sometimes not think about or not care about that they should give more attention to when implementing new technologies?
I think the problem it's always the competition. They look at the other website, the competitor, and they look, the other one, he offer Pix, I'm going to offer Pix. Yes, you can offer Pix, but you never had one guys from Brazil on your website. Why you want Pix? Yeah, because my competitor want Pix. Yeah, but he work in Brazil. This is the kind of conversation also you need to speak with them, because sometimes they don't think about it. They just want an additional payment method. But like I said, also, if you put too much payment method on your cashier, you're going to have some issue with your player, because they don't find the route to correctly make a deposit. That's also something they need to have in mind.
But I think they are getting better and better at that, right? Because sometimes you feel even that they are teaching us as well, which is good, because we have to listen both ways, right? They will come with something that is coming out new and with better success rates, or for a region that is really good. And it has to be like both sides, the conversation. But they are getting much better. They come always with like loads of, studies on the different countries, etc. Even more information that we may have.
Yeah. Because they also have contact with the players, right? So they hear firsthand what they want to use, and not only from a payments perspective in terms of payment methods, but also payment companies offer way much more than that, right? What do you think operators are interested in getting from the payments companies? Is it analytics? What kind of analytics? Like, what are their main wishes right now?
I would say one word: data. They want all kind of data, right? From analytics, as you say, then success rates as well. Back to Laurent's point was like, well, why do I have this success rate? Well, maybe you have like plenty of customers that they have insufficient funds, and obviously it doesn't go through. So it might drop that, right? So it's all data.
But do you think they want the data itself, or they want the insights from the data?
Of course, the insights as well. You cannot just send an Excel sheet and off you go. Good luck, right?
Enjoy.
It goes all about communication as well.
And do you think your companies are prioritizing making sense of that data? Do you think for payments companies is as relevant right now to provide those analytics and insights as it is to offer new payment solutions?
I think more and more. Until now, it was kept a bit more of a secret. We don't want to share anything, right? Well, now we are opening because it's a good tool for both sides as well, from the operator side and us as well. But yeah, it was like a secret well kept, I think, for a time.
But depending also of the quality of the data you give and the insight you give to the website, but also you can monetize that, because it's important. Because if you use, machine learning, everything, and you send them a lot of data they can use to increase the volume, decrease the cost for them, also to find the best player and pay less to the affiliate for a player, because you give them good data is the most important. But also just to, like you said, they want data, they want payment methods, they want reconciliation for the accounting team, everything like this. It's important because, as you said, more payment methods they will implement on their website, more data they will receive, more financials, more settlement, and you need to have someone also on the payment company that can manage everything. But also you have a lot of external partner, like Arun, for example, they can help them on the reconciliation side. I think this is very important for them to implement that. More payment method they have, more issue they're going to have on the reconciliation side, on the data side, everything. It's not only today a payment company is not only offer payment method, it's offer a global payment infrastructure to help them to facilitate everything related to payment.
And is it also, I mean, with this AI stuff and optimization and making sense of the data, are you creating tools to optimize this work and make it as automatic as possible? Or do you think payments companies in general still heavily rely on humans to see the data, interpret it, and
well, it has to be a mix of both again, right? Because we are all working more and more towards it. But then again, it comes to what every merchant sees as well, operators, what the key issues that they have, the information they want, because you can give them as much data as you want, but they might not need the data that you're giving them. So you have to sit down and really, really point out what they are covering, right? So I think we are all working towards it. Obviously, some companies more than others, but the human touch needs still to be there, at least from my point of view, because they see certain things that a machine will not learn, because AI, it's great, but it also works from the past. So they need to see the behaviors before they tell you, this is happening, right? Which someone checking it in may see it straight away.
And sometimes intuition. Sometimes human intuition.
Gut feeling.
Yeah, a lot of it as well. That's true. All right. Well, I think that's all my questions for today. It was a pleasure to have you both. I think it was super insightful. And I hope you found it too. So thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned. Follow us on social media. You have more episodes of this podcast. And yeah, we'll speak soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.